Yeah, so this is question 11 of the revised GRE general test. Now the question says a reading list for a humanities course consists of 10 books of which 4 are biographies and the rest are novels. So 4 are biographies while the rest are novels. Now each student is required to read a selection of 4 books from the list, including 2 or more biographies. How many selections of 4 books satisfy the requirement? Now this is a combination problem, and the very best way to handle a question like this is to begin to interpret each of the statement. That is, you're providing a mathematical description of each statement as you read. So let's see how the whole thing goes. A reading list for a humanities course consists of 10 books. So let's write that down. So we have a humanities course that must consist of 10 books. So it must consist of 10 books, of which 4 are biographies. So I'm going to use B to represent my biographies. So 4 are biographies. So this is biographies. Now this is 4, and then the rest are novels. So if 4 are biographies, and then we have 10 books, and then 4 are biographies, then the novels is going to be 6. So since we have 10, so the novels will be 6. So I'm going to use N, or I'm going to let N to represent the novels. So we are done with the first statements there. Now we also told that each statement, that is, each student is required to read a selection of 4 books from the list. So they have to read 4 books from the list, including 2 or more biographies. Now, how then do I make this selection? Including 2 or more biographies. Now see the way I reason this. So the selections possible is this. Since I must include 2 or more biographies, I'm going to start with 2. So it says including greater than or equal to 2 biographies. That's the thing. So the first selection could either include you could have 2B, that is 2 biographies, and then since you have to make 4 books, you want to make a selection of 4 books from the list. So you want to make a selection of 4 books. Let me use a different color so we don't confuse things here. So selection of 4 books from the list. So we need 4 books. So when I make a selection of 2 biographies, so it's remaining 2 spaces. So I could then make a selection of 2n, or the next one is, since it has to be greater than or equal to 2b. So if this is 2b, the other selection I could make is going to be 3 biographies. And when you make a selection of 3 books, you have just 1 space left, so which is going to be for the novel. So 3 books and one novel, or you all have your 4 books that you pick 4 biographies, and then when you have 4 biographies, there'll be no more books to pick from the novel selection. So it's going to be 0, 0n. So again, let me explain that again. It says each student is required to read a selection of 4 books from the list, including 2 or more biographies. So since it must include 2 or more biographies, I could either pick 2 biographies, I could pick 3 biographies, or I could pick 4 biographies. I can't pick more than 4 biographies because it's only 4 biography books I have in the selection. So that's the maximum I can pick. So then when I pick 2 biographies, then I can pick 2 novels, because again it's only 4 books I must pick from the list. So that's one of the selection case. Now another selection is when I pick 3 biographies, then I can pick 1 novel to make it 4. But then when I pick the whole 4 books from the selection of the biographies, then I have none to pick from the novels. Now, how then do I interpret this mathematically? Now, do you recall that the number of ways, okay, maybe I should just write this down. The number of ways of selecting our object from n object is so let me use a different color here. So it's going to be n combination r. Yep, that's this. So, and then this is interpreted as n factorial divided by n minus r factorial times r factorial. So the number of ways of selecting r object from n objects is n combination r, and which is interpreted as n factorial divided by n negative r factorial times r factorial. So what I have here, this is going to be the number of ways of selecting 2 biographies from 4, because the total number of biographies I have is 4. So the number of ways of selecting 2 biographies from 4 according to this formula is going to be 4 combination 2, then times the number of ways of selecting 2 novels from 6. 2 from 6 is going to be 6 combination 2. Now anywhere you see or, you replace it with the plus sign. The next one is the number of ways of selecting 3 books from 4. So you can't pick 3 books from from novels. It has to be from the biography selection. So it's going to be 4 combination 3, and the number of ways of selecting 1 novel from 6 is 6 combination 1. Then you use, like I said earlier on, the or is replaced with plus. Then the number of ways of selecting 4 books from 4 is going to be 4 combination 4, and the number of ways of selecting 0 book from 6 is going to be 6 combination 0. So to interpret this, so this is going to be like this formula says, it says 4 factorial, say 4 factorial divided by, now you have 4 negative 2 factorial, 2 factorial, then times the next one is 6 factorial divided by 6 negative 2 factorial times 2 factorial. Now plus, so similarly here we do the same thing that we did here. So you have 4 factorial divided by 4 minus 3 factorial, which is 1 factorial, times 3 factorial, then times 6 combination 1, the same formula, you have 6, then plus 4 combination 4, that is 1, times 6 combination 0, which is also 1. Now when you simplify this, what you would obtain here is going to be 90, plus what you would obtain here is going to be 24 plus 1. So 90 plus 24. So you need to confirm, you could pause this video here and then confirm that these answers, they coincide with, they correspond with what you obtain when you compute them. So note, when I say 4 factorial, I simply mean 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So it's like, so similarly we have 5 factorial, that is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So on and on and on like that. So 90 plus 24 is 114, and plus 1 is going to give you 115. So 115 ways of selection. So and then your answer is B. Yeah, that completes the problem. Thank you for watching.